Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander, National Sales Manager for Bona Adhesives.
I'm Rob Johnson from Bona Training.
Hey Rob, before we
Wayne?
get, before we get into our episode today, I want to go circle back to the episode we did with George Wurtzel, the woodworker, and I told you that I showed you some of the things that he made. I'm going to hold up. I got you a present, Rob. I need you to send me your address, okay? And I think you sent it to me before, but I likely deleted it, thinking I'll never have to communicate you in that way
You
again.
send Pauline flowers like once a month.
Yeah, I guess you're at the same.
Was it just call the florist, he'll give it to you.
Okay, all right. Well, here's what I got you. Okay, I'm holding this up. This is an ice cream scooper
That's
that George
nice.
made. I can't tell you how heavy this is. This one particular one is made out of walnut, and he said it's the last ice cream scooper you'll ever have to buy, and it feels like an industrial. So George Wurtzel, the woodworker, the blind woodworker that we had on last week, they make great gifts. Kind of nice to support the guy, and not that he's asking me to. In fact, he never said anything about it, but we're woodworkers, and he's a woodworker, and I just thought maybe it'd be kind of cool to support it. The other thing is he made that I've got for you, Rob, for the purposes of the episode. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really get this for you.
Here we go.
The ice cream scooper I did. I'll get that for you. But this one
Okay.
I got just because for Judy. This is a biscuit maker, a biscuit cutter. See that for making biscuits and for breakfast or something. But
Nice.
but look how fine this is, and how this like I don't know how thin. This is probably a 16th of an inch on the edge here, and it's just beautiful. A very nice, inexpensive. You know what? I just think a very nice, cool gift. So anyhow, I just thought I'd share that. So your ice cream scooper is on your way.
You gonna send me that thing too?
No, you don't get that. I'm trying to encourage the little woman to make biscuits.
All
I've
right.
got
Do you know what the secret to the biscuit making is, right?
no, I have no idea.
There is a secret. There's a reason that the biscuits up here suck in the Northeast
Huh?
and they're so good down south. It's called white lily flour.
White lily flower.
White lily self-rising flour.
I've been called white lily flower before a time or
You
two.
are, well, that's only on the beach.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, so they don't have it up north or anything?
You can't get it up north. You can't get it up north.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I read this whole thing in the New York Times a few years ago.
Huh.
I started to look into it and I finally found it. Jeremiah found it for me in Nashville.
No kidding.
White lily, and it's got to be white lily self-rising flour.
I'll be darned.
Yes, and it's like a southern thing, and that's why you southern boys and your biscuits and everything, that's it. That's actually once you have these white lily self-rising flour biscuits, it's over. We could actually end the show right now with that information out there. Yes.
That's amazing. Speaking of you Southern boys, I did the most Southern thing I've done since I moved to Tennessee this weekend.
What'd you do?
Okay, I started the day. I'll tell you. Well, first of all, I was in the coffee shop in our small town, and I ran into a guy who's well, he's my neighbor. He lives down the road from me, and he says, "Hey, we're having a men's Christian pancake breakfast at the church Sunday. We'd like to have you attend." And I couldn't say no. He was there with his wife, and they're really super nice people. And I thought, well, I've never been to a men's Christian group
Men only. Men only.
pancake breakfast. Yeah,
Fathers and sons or just men?
I could have been fathers and sons, but they're all men.
Did you notice any small people around that might not look like they're shaving?
No, they're all about my age.
Okay.
So yeah,
So there were no kids involved.
no, but they could have been, but they just weren't there that day. But
You were there. You were there though, right?
oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I started the day off doing that, and actually it was super enjoyable. They're really nice guys. I really did enjoy it. I had great pancakes and breakfast and what have you. And then from there, I went and bought crickets for fishing to fish a farm pond,
Huh.
which I had never fished with crickets before. We probably caught about 120 bluegill between the two of us, and kept them for a fish fry, which is another southern thing, I think. And I'm a catch and release guy. But this farm pond had not been fished in at least 2 years, and they needed to get rid of some of the bluegill will take over a lake pretty quick. So, and then I finished up by going in ordering what do you call it, a bed cover for my pickup truck. So there you go. That was my Sunday.
Okay. So you're how do you get the crickets? You just hook them, or is there a special way?
It's the craziest thing. You buy them by the sleeve apparently, and nobody ever counts them. You're not even going, okay, how many crickets? 24. Okay, one, two. Oops, that one's gone. Two, three. So they give you like a sleeve of them. You put them in a cricket basket, and you use a small hook. And the guy that I fish with said, "You're not going to believe. You're just not going to believe how these fish are going to just hammer these things. I mean, it's like cocaine to these bluegill." And he could not have been more right. I mean, holy smoke! Boom, boom, boom. As soon as you put it in there, they just destroy them. So it was a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of fun.
Nice.
Yep.
Because I fished with crayfish before.
Oh, I've done years of when I was a kid. Crayfish is a great bait. Yeah.
Crayfish up here is amazing. You get some big fish using crayfish.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. And every fish will hit a crayfish. I mean, they're big. I'll tell you, the all-time number one greatest live bait of all time is a hellgrammite. We used to call them Jack Uglies in
What?
Kentucky. A hellgrammite.
Jack Uglies?
They're called different things all across the country, but in Kentucky we call them Jack Uglies. You find them under rocks near creeks and stuff like that, little centipede-looking things with pinchers on them. I'm telling you, there's no deadlier live bait.
No
So,
kidding.
yeah, there you go.
Now you were live bait most of the time, or you were a lure
Zero,
guy?
0.1% of the times. I never throw live bait at all. It's this older guy I fish with who throws live bait, and it's just been kind of cool to know him and fish at these farm ponds that he's friends with these people. The bass fishing there is incredible, and I'm just going to ride this wave until they realize that I've got nothing much to
Because
offer.
fishing with Bum and Pauline's cousin, one day I brought crayfish on, and he's on the boat, and he's like, "You're embarrassing us. You can't.
Yeah,
That you can't." He goes, "What's the matter with you?
yeah,
We're crankbaits, lure, worm. No,
yeah,
we don't use live bait." I'm like, "It's so much easier. What are you talking about?" And
yeah.
man, he's like, "Please, that's embarrassing to be out here with that."
Honestly, I'm in that same vein. I really don't throw live
I
bait
had a
at
feeling you
all.
were,
Yeah, yeah. But when in Rome.
right. So you gonna join the church?
No. Um, but super, super nice guys. I actually very much enjoyed the conversation and the guys, and so it was very kind of them to ask me to come. So, yep. Uh, Before we go any further, we're going to talk about the sand and finish versus installation. And we'll get a little bit more in the detail about that in a second. But before that, I have to ask you, how was your Mother's Day?
How was my Mother's Day? It was great. Great. We did a little cookout. Um, we have been struck by COVID.
Hmm.
COVID all in the family. Emily and her two boys have COVID, so we couldn't have them over for Mother's Day. They're feeling fine. I think they might have picked it up at baseball because Little League started. So, but they're all doing good.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
They've had their shots and all that stuff. So it's been pretty mild so far, knock on wood. But I did get up. I made Pauline a really nice breakfast, and so she get up and she was going to start, doing the dishes. And I said, hey, it's Mother's Day. Do
Oh,
those
that's nice.
tomorrow. Yeah, do those tomorrow.
Nice. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
I'm
nice.
not a
Yeah.
dish guy.
You're a good man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I actually
Anything?
don't. No, we don't have any kids. So I did thank Judy for everything that she does, though, because she does a ton.
You get like 19 pets and being a mother.
Yeah, I know, but but I did thank her for everything she does. I told her, in fact, today it's not Mother's Day, but I told her today every time I go to get a shirt or pants or something, it's always clean and put away and everything, and so I appreciate everything she does. So, and there you go. All right. So we're going to talk about the stand and finish versus installation. The great controversy. We sometimes people will say if you could only do one versus the other, um, much
Well,
like
let's talk about some of the other great controversies,
okay, such as
such as Britney versus Christina.
man, that is so tough. I've recently fallen back in love with Brittany. She's so crazy. I just like her, man. She's just
I've always been Team Britney. I'm surprised that you and I are. I wonder how you and I are going to do with this episode.
we'll find out.
Well, right off the bat, there we're both on Team Britney.
Yeah, I went to Christina for a while. I mean, man, she can sing. She's talented, but man, there's just something about Brittany. To me, she's like an underdog now. I just root for her because she's kind of a
It's pretty weird. It's a weird,
yeah,
weird scene going on with
yeah.
her and that family, man.
Well, then you got in sync against Backstreet Boys. I mean,
Um, all Backstreet Boys,
oh, 100%. Yeah, no kidding.
all Backstreet. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
they're from. I think they're from Boston, right?
How do I know? I don't know where they're from, but I'll
I
tell you
think they're
what.
from. I think they're from Dor. Isn't that the one with the Wahlbergs?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're from Dorchester.
Okay.
Shout out to Dort, as they say in Boston.
When my sister-in-law is I mean, she's in the music industry, or was. She retired, but and she's a snob about performers. She's seen everybody who's anybody, and she tells me that, believe it or not, that is one of the best concerts she's seen. Backstreet Boys, which kind of swayed me.
No kidding.
Yeah. uh you got
Coke
Pepsi
and
versus
Pepsi.
Coke. Yep. Yep.
Where are you?
Coke.
Wow, we're three
Okay.
for three, man.
Are we really? Wow.
We
All
are
right.
3 for 3.
All right. We're gonna. It's not gonna be 3 for 3 on this next one. I promise you, I'll lose you on this next one.
Uh,
Best Batman.
uh, I'm always going to go with the first one, not Adam West, not the TV show, but what the hell's his name? Mr. Mom,
Well, he
Michael
was
Keaton.
no. Adam West
Michael
was the
Keaton.
first. Yeah, but Adam West was the first.
That's what I said. He was
Oh,
the
yeah.
first TV guy. Michael Keaton was the first movie guy.
Oh, he was, huh?
So they were both Batman.
Mm-hmm. So
Michael Keaton.
that's funny. Usually people say that or Christian Bale. Adam West, 100%.
So you're going with TV Batman.
I'll tell you why.
Listen, I'm gonna I'm gonna count that one as a tie.
No, that's not a tie at all.
Yeah, it's a tie because they're not really you got the movie and you got the TV,
You're a
and I
whack job.
really like both of them. I mean, I'm a
Oh,
huge Adam West fan.
are you saying it's a tie for you between those two?
Yes,
Okay, that's
yeah,
different
for
than
me,
saying it.
right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair
If I
enough.
had to choose one between Adam West and Michael Keaton, I don't know. I don't know.
It's Adam
Uh,
West.
Adam West was awesome in it. And I think the thing that got me about Michael Keaton
Mm.
was when I heard Michael Keaton was going to be Batman, I was like, are you kidding me? That's the best you could do. And I remember walking out of the movie theater thinking, that was the most amazing movie I've seen in a long, long, long time. And Keaton, I thought Keaton killed it.
I love Adam Keaton, and I thought he did a great job.
Adam Keaton?
Hmm.
You mean,
I
wait a
mean,
minute.
Michael Keaton.
There we go.
Yeah. Adam West, he understood the assignment, man. He knew it was a comedy. Batman was supposed to be kind of funny, and he played the role brilliantly. I think he was almost like a spoof of a superhero. He even did that like Batman dance, and
Yes.
I give it up to him, man. I think,
Wasn't this the one that were they?
yeah, yeah,
Yes, the Batman dance. That was his dance.
that was the Batusi.
I think he was dancing with Catwoman.
He danced the Batusi, man. He did it with everybody. Yeah, I thought he was the best. Plus, I was a kid back then, so anyhow, all right. So stand and finish, Rob.
Wait, I got more. We can't stop here.
Okay.
Braveheart, Gladiator.
Uh, hmm. Probably Braveheart.
Did
Yeah,
you see them both at the theater?
I did. Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Because I think I've said it on the show 1,000 times, but my brother and I constantly argue about this. And then one day we figured out that I didn't see Braveheart at the theater. He didn't see Gladiator at the theater.
Uh,
So I'm a Gladiator guy. He's a Braveheart guy.
I always thought that with my last name Highlander, like how they have the Scottish festival games sometimes, the Scottish, they have these games. They do the log throwing and all these different things.
They have a huge one right here in
Yeah,
Albany, or a couple. Altamont, it's called, north of Albany. Huge Scottish games.
I often
Guys
felt.
come wearing the kilts, the whole deal.
Can you hear me on your end? Okay. All right. Just wondering if you just interrupted me on purpose every time this episode so far, or just because you couldn't hear.
No, we're getting back to the interrupting.
Okay. I always thought that I would be well received at a Highlander a Scottish festival thing. Like I could be like a grand marshal, but I have a feeling I would actually say that funny thing, my name is Highlander, and I don't think it would actually matter to none of them. Oh,
Would you compete? What would you compete in?
nothing. I can't anything physical. I can't compete anymore.
There's some strong dudes there, man.
You ain't lying. As my mom said, there's a lot going on underneath those kilts. I don't know why. I don't know. Not sure what she was getting at. Didn't want to ask her. But they have some strong dudes.
All right. Italian Ice, Lindy's or Luigi's?
Italian ice?
Italian Ice.
That is such a random question. And I don't know. I don't if I've ever had Italian ice, and I don't know either one of those locations.
No, you can get them in the supermarket.
Oh, never had one. I don't think.
Listen, do yourself a favor. Next time you're shopping or Judy's out shopping, tell her to pick up some Luigi's watermelon flavored Italian Ice.
Okay,
Seriously.
I'll write that down for her.
It'll change your life, man.
Hang on, this is me writing it down. Okay, I'll tell her.
And of course, Ford versus Chevy. You a Ford guy or a Chevy? No, you're a Dodge guy now, aren't you?
Nah, I don't know, man. I'm not a. I know I'm not a Ford guy. I know that 100%. I bought a Ford Bronco, a great looking. I guess what is it? SUV, I guess. Really nice looking. But that couldn't get out of its own way. It had no power whatsoever, and it's always turned me off of. So I'd have to say Chevy, but I'm not really a Chevy guy either.
Chevys are so expensive, man.
So Ford is the most expensive truck you can buy.
They both got very expensive. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Um,
What is your truck? Is it you got a Dodge, right? Or did you get a Toyota?
I've got a Dodge Ram, but it's the Rebel. That's right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That got the Hemi?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Now the Rebel. What else is a
I don't like. I'm not crazy about the Dodge Ram truck itself, but the Rebel I thought it's just a shade cooler looking than the rest of them.
You got a badass looking truck. We should put the truck up on the. That
Yeah,
truck of yours is badass looking. Go get it washed, spiff it up, throw the
yeah.
picture up on the show.
Okay, let me make a note of that too. Okay.
You know, there's people that do take notes. I know you're not one of them.
You have got to be kidding me right now. I was going to ask you if you took notes for this episode. Are you going to freestyle again? Uh, you'd be a good rapper. You just be spitting all kinds of stuff.
I can't believe you just said that. I was watching 8 Mile last night.
Oh, Eminem.
I watched 8 Mile and I was like, that has got to be so hard to do that.
Yeah.
Just stand across from one guy staring at him and just come up with.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think I'd be a good rapper.
Yeah.
I'd need like a week to prepare.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be tough. All right. You got more?
Well, let's do it. Sand and finish versus install.
All right. So here's a question I have for you, Rob. If you had to choose one for the rest of your life, which is kind of funny question in itself because we're all over the hill, you and I. But if you had to just do one your career, either install 100% of the time or sand and refinish 100% of the time, which would you choose?
I can't say sand and finish fast enough.
No kidding.
Not a thought.
Yeah.
Not. I can't say it quick enough.
Hmm.
I'm a sander.
Okay.
I'm a ball player. I'm a hockey player. I'm a
Yeah.
sander.
I would hate. I've always said I would hate to do one or the other all the time because it kind of breaks it up for me, to do one and then do the other. Um, I think if you ask me, it depends on what point in my career that I was in. But there's a great satisfaction in both of them. And it's very tough for me to say one versus the other, man. It's almost impossible. If I had to lean, it's for different reasons too. Um, if I had to lean one way or the other, if I had to do my whole career, it would probably be install. And that is hard for me to say.
I can't believe it took you that long to say it. I thought you would say
No,
install as fast as I said sand.
no. I love the sand and finish process, man. I mean, because you're putting your stamp or your signature on it. You do as when you install as well, but I think much more so when you sand and finish, depending on the job.
Now, if you ask my dad that, he'd just install all day long install.
Okay.
Matter of fact, he called me a dumb floor sander. You're just a dumb floor sander.
Oh, no kidding.
Oh God, yeah, that's what he used to make. That was
Ah,
his favorite joke, dumb floor sander. And I'm like,
uh,
all day long, man,
no
all
kidding.
day long. And I'll tell you why.
You showed him.
I showed him, right? Exactly. Here's why. You can do the crappiest install in the world. I'm going to make it shine. You
Hmm.
can do the greatest install in the world. And if it ain't sanded right, he didn't care. He didn't care about me saying that. I
No
was still,
kidding.
you're just a dumb
Yeah.
floor sander.
Oh man.
Dumb floor sander.
Uh, too
And
bad.
I was like, phew, he just didn't get it.
Yep.
Well, it's because he loved
Well,
install and he loved building. That's what his thing. He loved building. He loved building. So he was a carpenter.
yep. I get it. So if you are going to sand the floor, okay, let's say so now you're going to sand all your life. Would you rather sand new installation jobs or existing sand? Let me start this again. If you
Come
were
on,
going to,
Tiger, get it out there. You can do it.
I think I can make it.
You want me to try it for you?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we're going to stand new or existing?
Yeah. What would be your preference if you could do one versus the other?
Existing all day long. I'm going to say that one as fast as I can, too.
Yeah.
Personally, I loved when you would go in and people were like, I don't know what you can do with this. I don't know. I don't like, I told the story the one time the Bum and I were working on this maple kitchen and it was all covered in glue and, water stained and was just a disaster. absolute disaster. And she's like, well, I get it. It's not going to be perfect, but please do the best you can. And it actually was a real easy one too. Everything was dry. All the glue, the old glue, the asbestos tile, and all that crap. Everything was pretty dry. So it sanded off. Actually, it actually protected the floors about 90 years old. So that tile and everything really protected it. So when we sanded it, coated it, she came home, looked like a brand new floor. She had tears in her eyes. Tears. So no, I definitely would do existing. How about
Okay,
you?
there's two things I have extracted out of that comment that you just made. One is, so the asbestos was dry enough to sand, huh?
Yeah. Well, the stuff under the tiles.
Yeah.
She pulled up the tiles. I never touched them.
Okay. So there's no, you didn't have to worry about sanding asbestos then.
Well, plus I had my, my bandana like this,
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah.
covering
Oh, okay. What color
my dust mask
back then with a bandana?
bandana. Yeah.
Yeah,
Color?
yeah, red.
That goes back to blue versus red. If
Yeah.
it's blue all day
Okay.
long.
Oh, I think they're safer against asbestos than the red. So good. Um,
What about you?
uh, well, existing also for several reasons. One of them, I think there's less liability because you're less chance it's going to cup. You're the second guy there. It's probably reached its equilibrium by then. It's been in that house for that certain amount of time, and that's one part. That's the business side of me. But also for the same reason you said, I love nothing like taking an old floor, a beat up floor, 100-year-old floor that the homeowner has sometimes low expectations, and you just flat out knock it out of the park, man. There's not too many better feelings than that. And especially when they're going, well, I hope you can, I hope it's going to look okay, and blah blah blah. And in your mind, you're going, huh, hold my beer. This is about to happen, and you just knock it out of the park. That is a damn good feeling.
That is. That's one of the best feelings of floor guy, I think, that
Yeah.
that you can get.
The only downside of that, I mean, the only thing about that too is the expectations, and there you're working with something some time that's not perfect. You know what I mean? And some things you can't fix, and that will bug me probably more than a homeowner sometimes. So I don't do like some people say, oh, just leave these boards. They're not, I don't do good with that. Uh, I had a guy one time. Matter of fact, this guy was 41 years old. He had never had a job in his life. He was wealthy. I mean, crazy wealthy. And but all he did was manage his inheritance from his dad. And he was like a 12-year-old child when I talked to him. I mean, it was amazing to me how just immature this guy was at being 41 years old and having all this wealth. He had pictures of him with different presidents that he's donated money to and everything. And he, he thought my price was too high on the sand and finish. And I told him, and also he goes, well, how much are you charging me to replace those boards? I think I was like $400. There's a few boards or whatever. He goes, no, 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 I don't want to pay that. Just leave them. And I thought, you schmuck, what are you doing here? So I told my brother, let's replace these boards. I don't care about the money. I'm not going to leave them. I'm not going to do that. So I got done. He came home. He goes, oh man, I can't believe how nice you did that. I appreciate that. And I got something for you. So he gave me a bottle of wine and two $20 bills. So I put the two $20 bills under his floor mat because I don't work for tips. And a bottle of wine I think we gave to neighbors. I don't drink wine. So there's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So that's that. That's the other thing. That's the only downside of an existing floor. But yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that.
You didn't keep the $40?
No, it was an insult.
Wow.
Yeah. No. And as you know something, here's the thing: his wife knew it, and his wife knew that I was doing right by them, and I was looking out for their best interests, even though they weren't. He wasn't smart enough to understand that, and that was good enough for me.
Sometimes if you don't take somebody's tip, that's an insult too.
I put it under their mat on their porch, and whether or not they saw it or whatever, I didn't care. I'm not just there's principle for me. I'm a man of principle, Rob. You know that.
Yeah, I know. Way too much principle.
All right, what's the next question?
Oh, let me try that again. Which requires the highest skill level? Installing or sanding?
Which requires the highest skill level?
It's so funny to ask a floor of the year champion. Cue the music. Floor of the year.
Which requires, well, I think it depends on the situation. Obviously, chevron, herringbone, or those round pattern, or some of these floors requires a great deal of skill, but also knowledge and a lot of knowledge up front, which sometimes gets taken for granted, which is swaying my opinion a little bit because moisture content.
Now that you're Mr. R540, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I think you're looking at things differently now, aren't you?
yeah. No, I've always looked at things like that. R40 has been around for a few years.
R540,
Yeah,
R540.
yeah, I've been around forever. So I've always been concerned about the relative humidity, the equilibrium, and the different things that affect wood floor. So as far as which the more skill level,
Sanding, man.
it's damn close.
Sanding. Yeah, you got to pick one. Pick one.
Okay. Oh man,
Wow.
this is way
I
harder than
am
I thought it was going to be.
shocked.
Hang on, give me a minute.
Okay, man, we got all the time in the world.
Man, it's because on the sand and finish you're including finishing. I'm going to go with sand and finish.
All right. Atta boy. There you go.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
you.
because I always thought you could teach somebody to install
Yeah,
a heck of a lot quicker than you can teach somebody to sand floors.
yeah, and you'll
And I'm
have.
I'm not taking anything away from. I mean, there's people out there doing stuff like your floor of the year and stuff that I couldn't even imagine to do. Okay, but I just think that it takes a little bit longer to train a guy to get really good and be part of the crew at when you're sanding floors. Pre power drive. Now that's pre power drive.
Well, you're also got to include the finishing part. That's what swayed me over to the sand and finish. But it is very tough because I mean I'm giving it 52% versus 48%.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm not going to argue with you on that. Wait, I want to talk about now. You're talking about that's what swayed you, right?
Hmm.
Was the finishing because things are getting some trickiness now.
Yeah.
I picked up a trick that Todd Schutte gave me that he got from the Swedes.
Hmm.
I don't even know if I can say where our counterparts in Sweden. I won't
Yes.
call them the Swedes,
Yeah.
but the Swedes, they measure a floor, and if it's below, now we're talking about using natural seal, Nordic seal,
Okay.
some tricky products to use, correct? I mean, we've had guys who, so they're saying if a floor is 6% moisture content or lower, they water pop the floor. And before it's completely dry, as soon as you start to see the surface start to get dry, they pull the coat
Oh my God.
and it gives more flow and level, right? Now, I'm going to give a big shout out to Jeremiah Strong. And I don't know if you had anything to do with this, but Jeremiah told me this 3 years ago. And I said, that could be the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And
Okay.
as soon as I read this, Todd gave it to me. I read it. I looked at it. I called Jeremiah and I go, big time apology here, man. I was so wrong to make fun of you about that, but this is what the Swedes are recommending. I did it on a herringbone floor at our last school, and it worked amazing. I was pretty blown away by it. What were you going to say?
Okay.
You're in
Uh,
deep thought here.
6 Degrees. Who's that actor? Six
Kevin
Degrees.
Bacon.
Kevin Bacon.
7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Okay, so this is what reminds me. That reminds because right now there was a guy losing his mind right now. Listen to this episode
Uh-oh.
because Mike Betts, All American Hardwood Floors in Nashville, is the one that showed me that, and I think may have shown Jeremiah
Then
Strong.
that's because that's where I saw it. Was at Mike's
Yeah.
building.
Yeah, and it's amazing to me. I mean, this guy.
Shout out to Mike Betts then.
Yeah, but
Our man
what
in
gets me,
Nashville.
I'm gonna strangle you. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this ice cream thing and beat you over the head with it if you interrupt me again. Okay, so Mike Betts can't spell chemistry, probably. You know what I mean? And I mean, he can't. He's a smart guy, actually. I should say that.
Wow.
But that these guys came to this conclusion with a moisture meter and technology and what have you, came to that conclusion that Mike Betts in Nashville, Tennessee, just sand and finish guy, just not a chemist or anything, uh, but came up with that same conclusion. Isn't that interesting?
That's insane.
It is.
It's absolutely insane.
I'm going to tell you something else about this Mike Betts guy. You know who he is, right? You met him several times at his facility there.
I'm very close with Mike. He calls me
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, he was like a phenomenal defensive back in high school, maybe even a running back with crazy fast times. He went to college as a defensive back, and I mean a stud football player. It's amazing what happens when a guy gets older. You see an older guy, you look at him and you would not see that this guy was a stud running back.
No.
I mean, he's in good shape. Don't get me wrong, but so it's interesting. So anyhow, I think
he's one of the old timers that I wouldn't throw hands with.
No.
You look at him and you go, no way.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to try and take a title shot with this guy.
No, it's because an athlete is still got the brain, the head. You know what I mean? The what made you an athlete, made you a stud. Speaking of studs, Willie Short just won like a boxing championship. Senior, no, I don't want to get this wrong. I don't want to say seniors because the guy's not that old, but we should look that up. Willie Short won a boxing championship. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting to me. I never thought I had anything outside of hardwood floors.
Where is this coming from?
I saw it on Facebook.
Willie Short. You just
Yeah.
picked Willie Short out of the blue.
Well, because we said athletes, and
Yeah.
I thought I just saw this. I'm gonna look it up. All right. I got 6 friends, so it's gonna be quick on Facebook. It was a tournament in Houston after not being in the ring for 20 plus years, and anyhow, he won. I don't know what tournament it was, but it's a master boxing tournament. How about that? So if you have that doesn't go away. You know what I mean? That mindset doesn't go away.
Okay. I was just wondering where you were going. Now I figured out. Me and the rest of the audience figured out why you're talking about Willie Short. Got it.
Well, you said you wouldn't want to throw hands with Mike Betts, who
With Mike Betts,
was
right.
The whole key here is.
But I didn't know he was.
I'm gonna punch you. We should have our own Masters boxing tournament between the two of us. Neither one of us would win.
Be winded, right? We'd be winded after the third.
You quit? Yeah, I quit too. Okay, all right.
All right, here's how weak I'm getting. This is how weak I'm getting. I had to put a new pole thing on my snowblower. What are they? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it has electric, and in case you can't get electric, I got the pole start, whatever they call it. I put a new one on there. I pulled it and it started up really, but I pulled it like too hard.
Hmm.
Didn't have to pull it that hard.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to start crying. My arm and shoulder were in such pain. I come in the house and like Paulie's like, "You okay?" I go, I think I've broke my shoulder." Just just pulling the snowblower. I go, I'm really embarrassed to say. I wish I had come up with a better story for you, but
I think I got you beat. I told you I went fishing over on Sunday. Just fished all day long, and I woke up sore this morning. That's pathetic. All right, which is the tough? Well, this is a timely question. What is the tougher on your body? Installation or sand and finish?
install.
Yeah,
Definitely install, I
I
think.
agree. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that's probably universal. You're bent over all day long, that nail gun and nailing, racking, and everything, and carrying the wood and everything, and they're both tough, physically tough. But I would agree that installation is tougher on your body. Yeah. All right. What is the most time consuming for setup?
Install.
Yeah, I'd say so too, because you could,
Installing.
no matter what, if there's two guys on the job, a guy can get on the edge of right away. So even if you got to bring in the big machine and everything, power drive, you
Hooking
still,
up.
yeah,
Right.
okay.
Which is the most profitable?
I struggle with this one too. Um, a lot of it is because I mean, it comes into how you bid your jobs and everything. But I want to say this is so hard too, because here's the thing. Well, okay, I'm going to say I'll say sand and finish, and here's the reason why. I think a lot of guys are learning to charge more money for sand and finish that they can, what have you, because less guys are doing it, and some guys probably don't charge enough for the installation side because they figure they can hump. It's fast. It's big open room, whatever. But so I think for most people, sand and finish is probably more profitable. Um, and also with sand and finish, later in my career, I realized that if I'm bidding a job that's 300 square feet or less, I'm probably going to talk them into a pre-finished floor
Wow.
because, yeah, and that was tough for me to do because I'm dyed in the wool unfinished guy. But I started realizing, uh, on a small job like that, the more trips going back to recode it, that it would make more sense financially to do a pre-finished floor, unless I had other jobs in the area that I could schedule. You had a day of coating or whatever, you going around coating the floors. But I think by and large, the most profitable is probably sand and refinish.
Yeah, definitely. I made twice the money on sand and finish than I did in install, and only because I was a slow installer.
Yeah.
I was slow at it. I was much more proficient at sanding than I was install. And I know it sounds like I didn't like installs. I like doing installs. They're, you know,
Hmm.
but I never did installs like, like your stuff, floor of the year, that kind of stuff. Like I said, my floor of the year, one time Peter and I wrapped this, we did a four board, one was Brazilian cherry, so it was one Brazilian cherry, I think, and just a picture frame, and then we laid this field at a 45. And this was back in, man, this was probably around 80, 88, 89 when we first joined the NWFA. And I was like, we'll send this in for the floor of the year, man. This is a guaranteed winner.
Something though. I've said this back when I won the floor of the year, and I'll say it today. Everybody, everybody has a floor of the year every year. You do. I mean, everybody does a floor that went, wow, we really knocked this one out. It doesn't matter that it's, all kinds of different exotic things going 100 different directions or whatever. You know what I mean? So everybody gets a floor of the year, I think.
Absolutely. Oh my God. Yes. Absolutely.
Yep, you're so proud of. You nailed it out of the park on the sand and finish side of it and everything, and just it went everything you went your way. And people say there's no such thing as a perfect floor, but that one you're going, hey man, this might just be perfect. You know what I mean? Everybody gets that one, you know. So I think everybody gets a floor of the year. So I like your style on that one. There's no shame in that. Which causes you the most stress?
Sanding.
I'd say the same.
Definitely. Sanding.
Yep.
There's so much to do with there's so much to do with weather. There's so much to do with environment. I mean, you got to nail your prep, you got to nail your environment. And I'm not saying that you don't have to with installs, but I think the stress I would have with that was you're done. You know what I mean? When you put that final coat down, that's it. There is no going back. So, yeah, I think my stress level is going to be a little higher on prepping that floor, controlling my environment, and then getting the coats down right.
If it wasn't for the last coat, it would be an easy gig, right? Because it always comes down to that last coat.
Yeah,
And sometimes there's those jobs that, some jobs that go smooth from the start to finish. Every part of the job goes smooth, right? And then there's some jobs that you never feel quite right until the next day. And well, okay, well the next process, okay, well I got that coat down. And then oh, man, I still don't, it ain't where I want it to be. And the job sometimes takes you all 10 rounds. You know what I mean? And those are
sure.
killers. They're killers. And but when you get that final coat on and knock it out of the park, man, everything is worth it. But man, oh man, we've all had those jobs that it's taking you every round.
You leap out of bed
Yeah,
drinking coffee on the way there just to open that door and see what it looks like. See what Santa brought us.
yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
how many times have you done that where you're like, man, you just hoping this one come out good for whatever reason. 99% of the time you open the door and you're like, what was I worried about? But
Yeah, yeah,
that's why I definitely think that's going to give me my stress.
yes. And then the motion goes like this. It goes from, oh my God, I hope this looks good, man. That hallway, well, I'm not sure about the hallway. Yeah, I think this room is okay, but just I don't know, man. Let me open the door, and you walk in, and then it goes from that. It was like, so who's the man? Huh? Tell me who's the man? Who's better?
Right here,
Right?
baby. You're
Can
looking
I
at him.
can I can I get any better than this? All right. I know that can't just be me.
That's definitely me on that one too.
All right. If you could do only natural floors the rest of your career, would you do it?
Absolutely.
100% not. 100% no way. I like the challenge, and I know it's not maybe a good business move because obviously, it would be, more profitable and easier in life. It'd be less headache. And there's some glutton for punishment part of me that wants the challenges, and so I want the black floors. I want those things just because I always think I need to know how to do it for no other reason. So while it would make sense for me in more ways than not, my answer to that would be no.
So you're not talking natural
Yeah, natural
bone
finish.
bone and natural sealer. You're
No, I'm
talking
talking
like a
3 coats of of
yeah,
water-based finish and no
right, three
stain.
coat.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah, yeah.
No, I still think I'm gonna go natural.
Okay. I don't blame you. I completely get it. And I may be a fool for my thought process, but that's the way it is. All right, last question. What is the one area, sand finish or installation or whatever part of the floor business that you never really got to master like you wanted, and you never really got to take the time to figure it out like you think you would have or could have or should have.
I only wish you could have spent more time learning. Oh, it would definitely be installation, glue down, parquet, the stuff that you do. Definitely, I wish I had learned a little bit more, practiced that a little bit more.
Um, for me, it would be aniline dyes. Like I dabbled in them, and I never got to where I thought like, okay, I could go out now every job, and I could do this, and feel comfortable without stressing out over all of them. Because I think if you add aniline dyes with stain to your stain jobs or whatever, the look is sensational. I mean, you could just your color palette just exploded with just the richness and depth of color is out of this world. And I never felt like I mean I did it on several jobs and we did okay on them, but we never felt like it was a like I could take this system and just repeat it and go to the next job and never worry about it. So that would be it for me. Yeah. Okay,
All right.
Rob, we've learned you're back to interrupting me all the time, and I thought we didn't have to work on that, but now it looks like we have to work on that some more.
Yeah, well, we'll
Yeah,
try.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Try that again.
Okay, I'm gonna hold this up again. I have no dog in this fight, other than I really became a fan of this woodworker, George Wurtzel, and look up his website or whatever, and they make nice gifts. And Rob, send me your, like I said, send me your email address, and I'll shoot one out to you right away. I got one for you.
Hey,
So,
I hate to interrupt you.
oh no, you're fine. See, that's a great way to do it.
You like that? That better? All right.
Yeah, I was very professional.
Check out George Wurtzel, and I know we had talked about it during the show, but check out the commercial that he did with Subaru. But also check out somebody made a parody of that commercial, and it is hysterical. I mean, it is because they took that commercial and then they just put some really funny things in there. And I remember George saying to me, "Did you see the parody?" And I had, and I just watched it again the other day. I was showing Pauline, all George's stuff, and then I found the commercial and I showed her the parody, and she was losing it. The commercial's great, but the parody of the commercial is hysterical.
What I loved is how much George got a kick out of it. He thought it was hysterical.
When he said to me, "Did you see it?" The funny part about that interview, it didn't sound like we were interviewing a blind guy. I mean, I don't know how many times he said that. Oh, when the first time I saw like when he said the first time he saw the desk, the Anne Frank desk, and the funny things, it just said, at one point he goes, "Oh, did you see that one?" I was this close to saying, "George, are you sure you're blind? Are you
Mhm.
serious?" Because, I mean, between working the tools and all that stuff, but then just the way he spoke about how he sees things and saw things and, seen it, and I was like, man, it just didn't sound like we were interviewing a blind guy.
Well, and I think, as I said, within about 10 minutes or so, you don't even think of it when you're with him because, especially in his shop, he's like reaching for this, we're exactly where it's at, reaching for that, doing everything that, very little limitations on what he could do. And his woodworking speaks for itself. In fact, they're going to highlight his woodwork at one of the local really fancy hotels and everything. They're going to put all his work on display. So good for him. Rob, I appreciate it again, and I know I'm ribbing you a little bit, but it's all in fun and good natured for the most part. So
Actually, it's all kind of mean.
yeah, well, I'm sorry. Hey, listen, this has been another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please stay tuned for another episode.